Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to my Fallout 4 Mod Spotlight series, where today we are having a look at the Ruger Mini 14 mod, which is being made by user Ardent117. And what this glorious little piece of work looks to add into the game is the real-world Ruger Mini 14 rifle. And oh my, have I been having a lot of fun with this gun, as not only is it just a cool-looking weapon, you know, with the nice wooden stock and all that, it is, of course, a real-world historical gun being designed and built starting back in the Cold War, which altogether I think makes it fit in quite nicely into the Commonwealth. So let's jump on over here and have a look at what we do get with the Ruger Mini 14, which in its most standard configuration will deal 46 damage with a 5.56 round, with a firing rate of 35, range of 179, accuracy of 79, and a weight of 6.6. And as you can see here, this thing is gorgeous. Very well made and put together. Very nice on both the modeling and texturing, and, well, looks the part. It definitely does look like the Ruger Mini 14s that I have seen in the world, and it is just a good looking weapon with quite a list of different modifications that you can adjust on this thing to get it into the right sort of niche that you're trying to get the gun to fit into, which is pretty cool. You can do everything from the typical things like receivers and barrels down to caliber changes and even an ammo change, which I quite like because it's a little wacky and fun, and those are always good mods. Now, as for how you do get your hands on one of these lovely things, well, it's quite simple. You just need to go over to any chemistry station in the world, and you'll head down to the Weapon Mini 14 category, where you can build your very own Ruger Mini 14 with just rank 1 in gun nut, as well as some aluminum, plastic screws, springs, steel, and wood. Now, there is also an optional patch that you can download, which will add it into the leveled loot list for raiders and gun stores, but being an optional download, I don't have that installed. The basic standard download just gives it, with the chemistry station, and one semi-unique version found in the world, and specifically over at the Sanctuary root cellar / basement, whatever that place is called. It's basically an identical version to the just standard Rugers here. It just has a name and already comes pre-installed with a couple of attachments, but still a nice one you can find fairly early on. Now, as for the modifications we do get, let's take a look here, and in the receiver category, we've got the pretty typical things, from standard hair trigger on up to things like an automatic hardened piercing, and, you know, just the semi-automatic versions of those same things. Always a very nice to have indeed. Now then, in the barrel category, we have a standard ported, long, and long ported. Then in the magazine, we've got the standard base 20, a 30 round, a 30 tactical for quick reload, and a 60 round magazine. Very nice. Now then, in the optics, we've got quite a lovely list here of either iron sights, a reflex sight, a front reflex, a reflex scope, a one that is see-through, a mini scope see-through, then a 4x, 6x scope that also have see-through variants, and then a 10x scope. All quite nice, so a lot of good options in here for whatever you need. Now then, in the muzzle category, we've either got the nothing, a bayonet, a standard sort of, muzzle brake there, and then a suppressor, always good. Then we can change up the caliber. We've got the standard 5.56, but you can also up it a little bit on the damage category there with a 308 round, or even more with a 7.62. Very good there. Now, we then also have the stock, which you can adjust from either extended or collapse. That will adjust your accuracy, but, you know, smaller form factor. Then after the stock, we've got the frame, where you can either have it as a wooden or polymer stock if you'd like a more modern look to the whole thing. Personally, I prefer the wood. It just looks magnificent. We then have the rounds category where you can choose between the standard hollow point, high velocity, armor piercing, or my personal favorite, incendiary rounds, because who doesn't want to light people on fire when you shoot them? It's just amusing. Now, then after that, we do have the damage modifier that I'm always torn on because there's no requirements, but you can have either 0 damage modification or up to plus 90 to really up those numbers. And then finally, we do have a materials category, which actually does change depending on what frame you go with. So with the wooden frame, you have either the sort of CC's engraved wood, a pristine, or a worn wood. Now, if we change that up to the polymer, there we go, and head back down, we've got an FDE polymer, ODG polymer, pristine, and worn. So very nice that you do have variation depending on if you do go with the wooden or polymer category, and both are pretty nice indeed. Now that is it for the various modifications, so let's take a look at this thing in action and take some shots. Now this being the standard one, it has the 5.56 rounds, and let's fire. And there we go, a good smooth animation there for the reload, and it does bring me up though to my one minor complaint I have about this gun. Look just below the iron sights when we do fire. It's pretty quick, but basically the I don't know what the proper name for that is, but the recoil mechanism that's, you know, ejecting the shells and all that kind of clips through the rest of the gun there. It's just there quick for a second, but it is noticeable. That's, in my opinion, just the one and only issue with this mod. Everything else is pretty lovely, and with it being something that just flashes so quick, it's not really too noticeable, so it doesn't really bother me much. It's just a minor little thing. But all in all, a very good gun, easy to control and keep on target. Not a whole lot of recoil on this thing. I am not adjusting my mouse in the slightest. And with how quickly we get through all 20 of those rounds, we really didn't get off target there, which is pretty cool. Now let me grab some of the modified ones I made here earlier, which are pretty nice, and let's go to the suppressed one here, which I got up to 120 damage, which I'm also checking something real quick. Did I? Yes, I stuck with the automatic on this one, so that is a suppressed 120 damage, fully automatic Mini Ruger, which is beautiful with just the standard 20-round magazine there. With a nice scope and suppressor. It does quite well as a nice sort of medium range sniper support gun. Very cool. And then I went with the tactical one here, which uses, of course, the incendiary rounds in that nice 60-round magazine. And, I mean, why not have a knife on the end so you can also stab some people, which, surprisingly, doesn't really stab people. We're punching. Cool, hadn't noticed that before. Alright, and let's fire. Look at that beautiful, beautiful incendiary round. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's magnificent. And I love just the fun little touch of the front rail where the scope is. Seems to be zip-tied on. You can see it when we go to reload there a lot better without my hand being there. I just find that amusing that it's just sort of thrown together onto the gun. Yeah, very, you know, Fallout, Commonwealth, you know, Wasteland sort of a way to do it. Pretty cool indeed. And, you know, nice with the see-through scope there. Very cool. And just all in all, a fun gun. So let's do our usual thing of popping in a Deathclaw, and we'll take him out with this gun because, I mean, heck yeah, incendiary rounds. Let's pop this guy into the world. There we go. And I'm not even gonna run for the stairs. I'm just gonna murder him. Beautiful. We got through 17 rounds before he died. Yes. Alright, let's tempt fate here and pop in 2 of them, because why not? Let's push our luck. That sounds like a wonderful plan. And die, Deathclaw! Die. Alright, that one's down. And Hold on, there we go, and 2 down without having to reload at all. Oh yes, this is a wonderful gun. And yeah, just overall a very cool weapon that I have very much enjoyed. I always do love these sort of Cold War guns being added into the game, as I'm not a huge fan of modernized weapons in here, so I always do prefer sort of historical, with the latest being Cold War, and it being a wooden stock gun. It just makes me happy. I always do love a good wooden stocked rifle. So if you'd like to take a look at this for yourself, which I'd certainly recommend you go and do, you can have a look at the link in the description, as per usual, my friends. But that is going to be it for this one today. Hopefully you all have enjoyed. You do come back for the next. But until that time, thank you for watching. And as always, have a good one.